Are you always coming up with ideas? Do you marvel at successful business owners? Do you hate being told what to do? Ever take things apart just to see how they work? Are you a dreamer? If you've answered yes to any of these questions, this podcast is for you. Welcome to the Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Welcome to another fantastic episode of the Entrepreneurial Enclave, Life's Coming Attraction. Brother, I have been away from you guys for quite some time, but I'm glad that I had a chance to reflect and just rejuvenate myself and kind of move the podcast in a different direction, bringing on some more and exciting guests. But I am back, and man, I am just going to jump into this, man. I had got my dear friend, and I feel so good, and I felt the energy when I first met him that I can call him my dear friend. Come on, Thommy Davis, come on the line, brother. Talk to me, brother. How are you, DJ?
What's up, Kev, man? I felt the same way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, man, we're going to start from the beginning. When I didn't even meet you, but about 3 years ago in Trenton, they had the House Music Festival. And I guess you were the closing act. And man, you came and you put on a show, and never thought in my wildest dreams 3 or 4 years later, you would be back in Trenton as my guest, because I promoted and produced your show through Worth One Productions. And now you're on my podcast. And so as soon as you walk through the door, the energy, man, was like just crazy. So I want to thank you, man, for being in Trenton and showing out last Sunday. You were just fantastic. And as we see through Facebook posts, the community, the Trenton House folks, was just showing you mad love. Talk to me.
Man, honestly, I've been doing this for a long time.
Yes, sir.
40 years. I mean, actually, the DJ for about 47 years. And that's the first time when complete people that I don't know closely, by name or nothing,
yes,
actually just wrap their arms around me. I mean, I came off stage and I have one of my angels with me. In every state, I have angels
yes,
that now assist me, because you see the production, it takes a minute.
Oh, yes.
So it's more than me to do it. So she said, listen, you have a line of people waiting to take pictures and talk to you. And I looked and I could not believe that. I mean, it was a major point. I was kind of emotional because this journey wasn't an easy one. It really wasn't. And that was a validation moment for me. Like, you know what, you can be yourself and just go ahead and expand what a DJ is, or let me say it more exactly, what I am.
Yes. And so we were promoting you as the Thommy Davis experience. And I'm glad you gave them the whole experience. Come out with the wings, do you, brother. And they really responded and showed you love. That's one thing about Trenton, boy. Trenton will show you some love if they love you.
Oh, man. I mean, I did 2 festivals, and both of them were like that.
Yeah.
In Trenton.
Yeah. But let's start from the beginning, man. How and when did you get started?
In what sense? I mean, just DJing?
In the beginning of DJing, right?
You want to go back.
Listen, man, I want to share with the audience, man, the new and the upcoming folk. How did DJ Thommy Davis become so legendary? You just didn't pop out and say, I'm legendary. You had to put in the hard work. So how'd you become so famous, brother?
First of all, I have never, ever described myself as legendary. Ever.
Okay, but you are, though. You are, right?
I'm a humble guy. And I never liked when other people did that, and I would never do that to myself. That is something that I think other people should give you. You shouldn't give it to you.
Okay.
You know,
fair enough.
I'm honored that they say that.
Yes.
I just take it as like, okay, it's the highest compliment that they could give me. That's what they mean. I don't actually look at it as a stature thing. It's just like, okay, well, I guess they want to give me the highest compliment they can give. And I accept it. It's that.
Okay. Well,
But it's not.
I'm calling you Legend Daddy. You don't have to say that. Let me call you that throughout the whole show, because when you look at your body of work and you look at the genre of music that you're in, you are Legend Daddy. All right?
Okay.
Let's start let's start from the beginning, my humble brother.
But I mean, throughout this recording, I'm going to have to pull some unhumble back just to actually have this honest conversation with you.
Okay.
But I started at about 5 years old.
Okay.
Not as a teacher. I just had this just really love for music. And back then my parents had 45, and I used to just take the 45s and play them over and over again. So my parents would just say, "Why do you keep playing them over and over again?"
Yes.
And I remember, I'm 65, so you're going back to 58.
Yes.
The idea of a disc jockey was a radio station only.
Okay.
Artists was put 5 records on a spindle and put it on a turntable, and they would automatically drop and play.
Yes, sir.
And they would go off. That was it. That's what was the norm.
Yes.
But they found that I was taking the intros of records, you know what I mean, and and certain parts of the record, and take the needle and try to pull it back to just play. Now, I don't know why, I just liked a certain part of a record.
Okay.
So if I'm playing Heard It Through the Grapevine,
yes.
all right, 45. It begins with just a guitar, bam, 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 bam. I would go bam, 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 bam.
Gotcha.
Why do you keep doing it? You're going to scratch the record. And I just love records like that had interesting parts of it. It just, unbeknownst to me, I just loved the composition of music. I just loved, and I wanted to hear it extended and done different. And, at the time, nobody was doing that at all.
Okay.
So, moved on, and as I got in my teens, well, let me say this. I also had plenty of time to do it. In my youth, I was very sickly.
Okay.
Had extreme eczema, so to the point of being handicapped. I was covered with scabs from head to toe. I couldn't barely unlock my legs. Had to walk like I had some kind of a bone affliction. So I was very much teased and taunted and bullied, and doctors stunted my growth. I probably would be 6'3" if they hadn't done that.
Okay.
So a lot of things at the time, that's the only way that could help this poor little black child that just sat in the corner and looked like the Elephant Man, kind of covered in scabs.
Wow.
And so that even got to a point where I just got put back in school because I didn't want to be there where parents were removing their children. Don't touch him, get away from him, and not inviting me to birthday parties. And I couldn't get in the pool, or nothing. It just was, if I got in the pool, they would all jump out like, we don't know what he got. And,
got you.
And, eczema is a skin thing. It's not contagious. It's my personal system turning on itself. So I went through a lot of psychologists, and a whole bunch of stuff trying to feed medicines and psychologists and medications and stuff. But in the meantime, I would just go home and play those 45s.
Wow.
Over and over and over again. And when I became a teenager, I started going out and buying my own albums.
Yes.
And just playing albums and with lunch money. And then eventually I found that people noticed that I was a kind of a disc file, meaning that I collected records.
Yes.
So that's a big, pretty much, not everybody had such an extensive collection. I did because that was my best friend.
Yeah.
Because as I could be myself in a room and nobody laughed at me. Nobody called me terrible bullying names or anything. Yes. And so all of a sudden I was getting invited to people's, bring your records.
Yeah.
And I would bring records to come and stuff. And I had all the records to do it, all the Earth, Wind & Fires, all the Ohio Players, any kind of record that had that infectious kind of music, I had.
Yes.
So I found a breakthrough where I could communicate and mingle with people despite how I looked or what I was going through. So say this to really because there's other people and kids out here that's going through that. Just I want to just take a personal moment, just to tell you, man. So if there's somebody out there going through that, please be nice to them because they didn't ask for it, and they don't. The world is totally to them alien, and
Yes.
they don't know what love is. They don't know what socializing is. They just feel like they was first, and those people out there, I have a real empathy for, and that's probably as we go on, you'll hear some of the stuff that I'm doing now. It comes from being on the other side.
Yes.
It's like what, know what it feels like.
Now, all of this was happening while you were growing up in Baltimore, correct?
Yeah, Baltimore. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now, when you start going to these parties, right?
Yeah,
and you start playing your music for these folks, what are they saying?
They just kept inviting me because they to say, hey, can you drop your records off?
Got you.
I'm like, no, that's not gonna happen.
Got you.
That's my best friend with you.
Yeah.
Because I'm likely not to get it back.
Yeah.
Because were only sold in mom and pop stores. Back then you didn't have a Sam Goody or there was no online. You could not get these records. So I had the records. I've had everything from, Bob James to you name it. I had all the records.
Got you.
Eventually, as I got older and I discovered marijuana.
Okay.
and marijuana was a new way to socialize.
Okay.
So now I can records and also smoke weed with them. And if anybody back then, we ain't had this manufactured weed that's out there now. The weed was more of a silly kind of thing, and you could sit around and listen to records for hours.
Yeah.
And socialize. So it was my first experience with socializing.
Okay.
So that's when I first realized that, hey, I kind of like this, where I'm kind of equal. I need to say that because I was so restricted and medically challenged, I never learned how to play baseball, football, basketball, you name it, golf, wrestling, tennis, because I couldn't.
Okay.
It was that debilitating of an infection that I couldn't do those things.
Yes.
And if I tried, I would look silly. You know what I mean? And I didn't want any more bullying than I already had.
Understood.
So the Soul Train period came around and stuff, and I realized I could put on long sleeves. I could kind of keep my face skin from hiding it, and the disco and the dance era came in, and then I noticed that hey, I could be me, just have to cover it up so they don't really see all of me.
Yes.
So I had scars all over my body, scars, you know, and still to this day I have some, but nobody can see them.
And nowadays you just get naked on the floor.
Exactly.
You're like the total opposite, man. Like, golly, didn't he have a suit jacket on? Didn't he have a shirt on?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of that. It's a na.
I understand. Now I understand. I understand. Yeah.
Life was gonna play fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay. You know what? So I can't do that because of the restricted diet and proteins and stuff. Let me know if I'm going too deep. But you asked me.
No, this is good, man. Tell your story, brother.
It will explain where it is now. So certain things just didn't happen. I just didn't grow hair. I just didn't. By having it restricted like that, you can stunt.
Yeah.
Your growth. So I was smaller. I was hairless. I didn't start growing a little teeny wisp of them. I stayed until I was in my 20s. But all these things to a young man and a young black man, I felt like I wasn't competitive with my other brothers.
Got you.
So we grew up together in the same neighborhood, but they turned into muscles and beards and pubic hair. And I was like, I ain't got nothing. What's going on with me?
Got you.
That need to feel like, hey, I'll never be equal. It also helped school some things. So one day, I got a chance to, so a friend of mine knew that I had these records and knew I had this affinity for them. So she owned a club in Baltimore on Emerson Avenue. It was a small club. And she said, why don't you bring your records, come down and play them? And I'm like, really? You want me to play my record? And this was the first time I ever got my first gig.
Okay.
So I bought my records. Now I had all mixers had just come out on Radio Shack, so there was no mixers. Only radio stations would do that blend before that.
Yeah.
So I had it in my house and hung, Christmas lights up and try to imitate the new era of dance and disco in my own bed. And I went and I played, and they loved me. And I was just playing 2 turntables, B1s. They don't have that much control and nothing like that. The mix wasn't even discovered as something complicated as it is now.
Yes.
But it gave me my first pay, and I was like, wow, I can get paid.
Wow.
For doing something I love. I'm going to take this whole $6.
What? $6?
I wasn't expecting anything.
Yeah.
I just, I didn't think about it like that. I just thought it was just like a party. Like, you know what, bro, my records, they didn't give me anything either.
Yeah. Wow.
So, they started it, and they invited me back again. And so what happened is I had to drop out of high school because I couldn't, peer pressure and a lot of stuff that psychologically somebody that had my history just couldn't function.
Yes.
So I didn't drop out and interrupt it. I waited to the 12th grade year and about the last couple of weeks, and they said, you need a couple more classes. And I just said, I'll be damned. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm finished with this camp.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to GED.
Okay.
So after that, I fell in love with the club.
Okay.
But I registered for school, and I went to college. I went to a community college, and I went to Morgan State University.
Okay.
And at the same time, I went to this. I also joined this club in Baltimore called Odell's.
Okay.
This was all the same music the Garage was playing, and Catacombs, and all the urban underground places that were playing this new genre of music. The radio still dominated what we heard, you know what I mean? But the clubs was playing everything from B-52s to Von Mason to Planet Rock even, this era. And I fell in love with it. Needless to say, I flunked Morgan.
Okay.
Because I went every time I could go. So I said, okay, I need to make this choice. I'm going to, this is in a club. And I was a great dancer because I had plenty of time to dance. I joined a dance group, and, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden, the eczema was disappearing.
Okay.
So it's probably a lot of related to your mental state. You know what I mean? Because if you're not happy or you're under strain, you're under anxiety, you're going to have worse infection. So all of a sudden, I'm into the music, I'm dancing, I'm playing with the girls, and with the guys. Like, oh man, I'm having a ball.
Yeah.
So I watched this one DJ named Wayne Davis. You could look in the club and watch what he was doing. He was doing something incredible with the records, just playing one with another. And he would do the incredible drops and mixes and go-to changes, and all of us in the club worshipped him for that because we never heard music like that. This music, you only could get it at this club.
Yes.
It was our only outlet. Years later, I found out that Wayne used to go to the Garage, and he would hear the music, and he would bring it down and expose us to it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I joined the dance troops, and one day, my little side hobby thing just said I was going to record stores. And I'm like 19. I'm going to 19, 20. I'm going to record stores. I'm buying records. Now, because I'm such a rhythm head, I was buying records that I liked. There's no other way, and what the club played.
Yes.
So the owner of the store one day said, "Hey, excuse me, man, come here. I was like, "What? I didn't steal nothing. What do you want? What do you want?" He said, "No, Tom, I want to offer you a job." So you gonna offer me a job? I said, yeah, because you said you pick the records that are hits before anybody else knows. You pick the records, and now I sell whatever you pick. I sell to other people because you have a natural ear for rhythm and music. So you understand disco, you understand gospel, you understand reggae, whatever. You just got a memory for it.
Okay.
And I do. So he offered me a job, and I worked in this record store, and all of a sudden I had even more clout for someone that was socially deprived.
Yes.
So one day he said, "Hey, I heard you're a DJ." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'm gonna put 2 turntables in the record store, so that way you could play. You don't have to keep playing one at a time." I said, "If you put a mixer, it'd be even better." So I started mixing in the record store,
Wow.
and no, the record store is packed with people.
Wow.
Packed. And I'm in there just playing records to sell them. You know what I mean? So that is 8 to 9 hours a day, 6 days a week
Wow.
playing. I mean, not just play records. You know, I have to talk to the customers that
Yeah.
help them looking for the mighty clouds of joys and whatever. You know what I mean? But for the most part, this new phenomenon, the Baltimore got a chance to say, "Wow, I can see. I never seen somebody do that with records."
Mm-hmm.
It also exposed them to this record scene. So I became kind of infamous for this record store. They sort of said, "You need to go see Tom.
Yeah.
He's going to know what you need."
Yes.
So the other things that I had is that I could name a tune in 3 beats. So they would come in and they would say, I don't know what the bass line is. Boom, 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 boom. I said, "Stop this touch without you."
Yeah.
Like, wait a minute. No. Like, trust me. Show me. The record would say, "You know what, dude? You are a genius. Thank you." And they would come in and try to trick me, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the naming, because I was a walking audio file.
Yes. Love it. Love it.
So that even gave me more and more to do this. So the record store became huge. He went from 1 store to opening 5 in Baltimore.
Wow.
So one day, another record store who's noticed that he was dominating said, "Tom, don't you ask? You deserve way more than that." And he was a white Jewish guy. He's like, he's using you. He's puppeting you to manipulate the black community. So you should just ask him for more money.
Yes.
Do it. So the first time I did, he gave me a little bit of an increase, but he didn't give me that much. And I didn't get a paycheck anyway.
Got you.
Because all money went to where?
Yeah.
Records.
Yeah.
I was basically working for records.
Yeah.
So that went on, and then eventually I wanted to be the buyer. I knew he was still on the phone, and he would talk to distributors, and I would tell him things, and he wouldn't do them, trying to manipulate the market. And I'm saying, "Get this record," and he was like, "Well, I'm only going to get 3, so I can give it to my favorite customers." And I hated that. I was like, you know what? John Doe and Miss Murray and all of them, they need to be able to get these records too. So why don't you order more? And he says, "Yeah, but you don't know what you're talking about. You know, it's so, I want to say white people, but people, anybody in authority, because it happens with black people. They don't want to see you excel past them."
Yes, very true.
So so another record store finally came and said, "Listen, I'll pay you double whatever he's paying you. Double." So I went back to him. I said, "Hey," and by then I'm kind of like, I'm in a mall, and this store would be packed all day, especially weekends. So I said, "All right, I got a little bit of pull." I said, "Listen, they offered me double to go to another store, and since you didn't give me a raise on like that, how about this? You give me what they're asked, what they're double that they want to pay me, and I'll stay."
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, "You know what? Go."
Wow. Wow. Okay.
You should, after everything I've done with this store, you just going to dismiss me like that? He said, "No, wait a minute. You think you can do better? You go right ahead." And he was the king of.
Wow.
So I was still DJing, not much, you know what I mean, just still in my house or at a party here and there at the universities, like frat parties and stuff like that here and there. So I did. I said, okay, because I was hurt, because I watched this guy just discard me as like, I want to say like, you just a dancing nigga.
Yeah.
And I hate like that.
No, it's cool. It's cool.
You can't do what I do, you know what I mean? Without me, you would be nothing.
Yes.
So the store that hired me was in the same mall. So when I went to them, I said, "Listen, the only thing, I'll leave, but I need to be able to be the buyer for the store." And he said, "Okay, all right, fine." So that gave me everything I wanted. This store, in less than a year, became the number 1 store. And it put him out of business.
Wow. Good for you, man. Good for you.
All I did, And ironically, this is the beginning of house.
Yes.
He can't speak house.
Okay.
I mean, and I don't say that arrogantly. I say I am house. I am the redundant beat. I am the early house thing with loops and things like that. But I've been doing since my childhood. I just didn't know how to produce it. So
now let me stop, because this is where I think the conversation is going to get interesting, right? So
yeah.
you say that you are the originator of Baltimore house. Is that fair to say?
I proxy because I worked retail.
Okay, but to the listening ear, folks know that there's a difference between Baltimore house and house music, right?
Yes.
Okay. So because Baltimore house is relatively new, I would say with the past 10 years, right?
No.
Okay.
It was because I was on Jesse Saunders, which was the first house record.
Okay.
And me and the white guy I was with,
Yes.
I quit over that record. They came in and he had 2 copies. I said, I got 2 turntables at home. I said, I need both copies. He said, no. I said, well, I need one of them. He said, no, I'll order you some more. I said, if you don't give it to me, I quit.
Okay.
And I quit. And he called me back and said, hey, look, take the record. All right? It means a lot. I said, it means a lot. This record just did Funky Town and Donna Summer, Toot Toot Beep Beep, and it just looped. It just did this for a very long time.
Yes.
It's the first time I heard something do what I have been doing since I was a child.
Okay.
So to me, I was like, I'll quit. And he finally gave it to me. So this new sound was right then and there. So when it came in, he still thought, like most people, this is not going to last. This is just a fire. It doesn't have any guts. It don't have any melody. At the time, there wasn't soulful house music out there. There was just tracks, beats, and samples of records that you no longer get. So you remember Jack Your Body and stuff like that. Jack Your Body is really Let No Man Put Us Under, which is first choice, which is really hard to get because it was on an album and the people in the clubs had promos of it, but the regular person couldn't get it.
Got you.
So struggle because of the warehouse that kind of triggered them to make records that does the same elements that those records did. So Jack Your Body it's not over with them on a microphone. So that happened, and once Baltimore saw that they liked this, and I was pushing boxes. I mean, I'm selling, according to some distributors, I was selling equal or more to Chicago and New York together.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was feeding this mass of people that was like, what is this sound? Where is this stuff? And I was still a DJ salesman. Because now I'm ordering a record. So now I can demonstrate how to play this record.
Yeah.
And I had TVs in there. I mean, I had monster sound system in a record store that I got fined daily because you could hear I was knocking the store.
It's too loud. Yeah, too loud. Yeah.
Too loud, right?
Yeah.
So I started building relationships with distributors because now I'm a buyer. So now I can talk to the people. So, and what's funny is me and Byron Stingley from 10 City, he's working in a distributor in Chicago. So I will call him and say, Byron, what you got? Do you have any more of this record? I think I can find you a box, Tom. I said, look, I need whatever you can find. Mm-hmm. What record is it's called Time to Jack Your Body. He's like, really? But it's not a hit nowhere else. It's a hit here. Give me everything you got. And then when he didn't have it, I would say, you know what, give me the guy that made the record name. And I would get him to send him directly, skip the distributor. But in the meantime, me and Byron, I'm selling that much, Kev.
Yeah.
I'm selling like maybe 500 house records.
Wow.
In a sleepy little town at the time that was radio still dominated.
Yeah.
And there was no internet. So, ironically, this is the same time what a lot of people don't realize, and from a retail point of view, hip hop and house were born at the same time. So I'm a hip hop head. I love any rhythm.
Yeah.
So at the time, I'm still selling boxes of Scott LaRock and Schoolie D and premiere anything on Wild Pitch and all the loops. I'm just making sure they have all the loops of James Brown loops and all this kind of stuff. So it became a kind of specialty store. It's like, Tom, what's this record right here? They would play and say, okay, that is You Bad, and that is stolen from James Brown. He said, you want the original record? I can get you the original record and you can do it yourself. No, I want this one. Like, okay, that is on Bones Break 7. Like, how do you know this stuff? I said, you do this 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. You, you could do that. So the people started really, really put me on their shoulders. It's like, dude. And sooner or later, other record stores started hiring DJs as salesmen.
Got you.
So in the meantime, I'm selling mixtapes.
Okay.
So the store I moved from was from a Jewish guy to a Hebrew guy.
Okay.
You know, so they were selling beepers and stuff like that. You know, all that kind of stuff. You remember the period?
Oh yeah.
So he said, dude, I said, listen, I want to sell some mixtapes. I said, no problem. It's like, you can go ahead, because you bringing all this money into my store. You know, like, okay, fine. So the mixtape thing just took off. I mean, point where I would forget to get the paycheck from them. I was making like $1,000 a week.
Wow.
And mix. So all of a sudden I'm getting more exposure as a DJ.
Yes.
So as I'm shipping them overseas. I'm just people in the military. I had a special place with brothers at the time was going into the military because they couldn't get that music and they wanted to do, support a country. And I said, dude, don't even worry about it. Just give me your address. I'm going to send you a mixtape here whenever you need them. Because, just respect.
Yeah.
So that got me over international and everything like that. So I was, all of a sudden, I'm getting little smaller gigs like, hey, can you do this house thing at a party? Now, back then, nobody did one thing at a party.
Yeah.
You had to play. Set it off with It Takes Two, with Jack Your Body, with Roxanne Shante, with whatever. You know what I mean? The beat was a well blend.
Yeah.
So it got to the point where I said, look, I don't want to do it anymore. If you hire me, I'm only going to play house.
Okay.
That's it. And so people say, really? Well, I can't use you. I said, well, then tell you what, just bring me and I'll play. You let your other people do all the Brand Nubians and Jungle Brothers, and I'll come in and I'll do my house thing at the end.
But let me stop you. What was it about house that you wanted to just be solely dedicated to that? What was it about house?
It's, to be honest, the original house, not what we call it today.
Yeah.
The original house is redundant. You know what I mean? It's not trying to impress with pretty melodies. It's very bassy and it's very driving, almost in a techno kind of way.
Okay.
So like I said, I was wide versed. And this is a period when this new sound called industrial was playing out. So industrial was in for a minute. So you had Duran Duran, and you had some soft cells, Tainted Love, and you had this sound that, that the urban people liked.
Yeah.
But nailed it. You know what I mean? Just nailed it straight where I could play all day long. I could, I could go, Jack your body, Jack your body. So music is the key, and this Jam Silk, and it's okay. Jesse Saunders.
I remember that. Yeah.
Peter Godwin. And then Imports came out.
Yeah.
So and so the DJs that became DJs would take records like these and put beats to it.
Okay.
So that's house. You know what I mean? So this house thing found a way you could make it fit you.
Yeah.
You didn't have to play it that way. You could play it another way. You could take a hip hop record and put it with a house record.
Yeah.
So whatever you was, house allowed you to do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a garage head. I'm kind of like classic, Touch and Go and Letterman Put Us Under and Vinnie Williams and Ivy Hayes and those kind of records that are what made this soulful house thing.
Yeah.
The house came out of. So I would have the ability to sell that and to sell the house thing. The bad, for lack of a better word, the bastard children of those records.
Yeah. But Thommy, listen, and I want to go in a deeper, not a deeper, but a different direction real quick. So,
Yeah,
so now that you're doing house music, right?
Yeah.
Are you now starting to travel to the clubs in New Jersey and New York and Chicago? Are you starting to do that round as well?
Oh, all right. So I became now I'm still a DJ, a record store DJ, and I'm becoming infamous
Yes.
globally.
Yes.
Because I would call distributors and say, hey, I want this record, and they too, like the original guy I was working for, would say, wait, if he picked this record, then it's got something, and most of the time I'm just a little bit earlier than everybody else.
Yes.
So I built affiliations with people in overseas in different countries or distributors that would gather these records from different times. So one of the things that I was in love with was the premier DJs. Like the one here is Wayne Davis. In Philly, it was David Todd. In Jersey, it was Tony Humphries.
Yes.
And T. Scott. These guys were like the pre-me in the mix. These guys on records could tell a story. I mean, tell you a story and just drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Well, my ambition was like, I'm going to keep doing this. I'm just going to bring house into it. Now, they did get up to the house period, but their infamous time was pre-house. And that I spent so many hours on a turnpike getting to the dance.
Yeah. I
had my windows busted out 2 or 3 times parked around that joint.
What, in the Zanzibar?
Yes, I got Maryland tags.
Okay, got you. got you.
That didn't make a difference. We just say, hey, put our coats up the window and drive back to Baltimore. Say, hey.
Yeah. Wow.
we going. Well, anyway, so in the record store, I used to play without headphones because I got playing the records 8 hours a day, 6 days a week. I'm playing the same records that I'm selling, so I can hear the first beat drop. So when people think I'm like, how are you doing the magic? They're like, no, I'm just catching the very first beat.
Yes.
So I'm studying the mechanics of a mix.
Yes.
Yes, because you really could do it without a headphone if you know what you're expecting to happen from the blind record coming in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm in a record store. So I had young kids coming from high schools, which was right across from the mall, and they would come in and just stand there and watch this guy that they never seen somebody personally do that. They can't even get into a club.
Mm-hmm.
They watching this, and one day this young guy came in. He was about 16, 17, and I was still half hip hop, and I still collected hip hop because I love the old original hip hop. It's rhythms and beats. I love rhythms and beats.
Yes.
And he had a reputation for being really good in the hip hop mix. Like DMCs and where they backspin, let's dance, or rock the bells. It was a new art coming up. Of being a turntablist.
Yes.
So I said, I knew him from coming to the store by a record. Say, well, once one day you come up here and play. Now you have to step onto a platform because I would stand on a platform and play records, and everybody would run to the record. They say, everybody, where's that record at? I would point on the wall, and everybody would run to that wall. Put on another record, and everybody would run to that wall. And by the end of the day, I would sell out most of the wall.
Good for you. Yeah.
Well, this guy was DJ Spin.
Okay, wow.
So he came and got up there and slaughtered the deck. I mean, precision slaughtered the deck.
Yes.
And I'd never seen somebody that tight. Come to find out, he, like me, spent a lot of time in his own home just practicing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's playing the same records over and over and over and over and over again. You can't help but get good. So he got up there, and for the first time, Baltimore got to see that you can be really tight with it. Before then, people were just imitating Beat Street or something like that, which is just doing sicka, all that dance.
Yeah.
Sicka. No, he was precision doing stuff with records in front of their face where they could see it.
Yeah.
So we became close. It was like, he was the only guy that do that because after him, I couldn't let anybody else do it because they were sloppy compared to him. Like, no,
Gotcha.
no, he was black excellence, and I gotta respect anybody that is black excellence because you know what? Sometimes the world we don't acknowledge the people that come along and break new barriers, and I knew at 6 that guy was it.
Yeah. And you guys
So,
have been partners ever since.
Ever since.
Wow.
Let me tell you how. So he liked the sound of house, but he didn't play house. He played hip hop.
Got you.
So he was in a group called Newmark. So I was selling their record too. It's like, you know what? I'll sell your record too. Okay, fine. Especially because I've offended you. You're my man, and I know your boys, and I'm gonna sell your record in my record store. So one day they came back with a cassette tape, laughing, saying, "We made a house record, Tom. Why don't you listen to it on a tape?" Like, really? Now they were joking because they didn't understand house or nothing, but so they made their version of a house record. It was called "Get the Hoe." And they was being funny with it. Like, we were just playing around, get the hoe. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think you might know the song. And some other people, if they would know this song. So I told him, I said, look, go back and structure it as so. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, I understood the mechanics of a song.
Yes.
And I had new mechanics for house because house mechanics is different than song mechanics. So they came back with it. I said, if you come back with it, I will press it. And they was like, you lied. Come on, come on. Like I said, I will. Well, they came back and gave me the cassette. And I kept my word and called up New York Sunshine, got an acetate. And for a month or 2 months, I just covered the acetate and played it for the customers. And they would run to the wall like, where's it at? I said, I'm sorry, that's not out yet. But all of a sudden I said, well, this is going to happen. I'm going to invest my money into this record.
Yes.
So I went to the office and I said, I need at least $1,000 to press this record, but I'll get it back. The first man I get back, I'm going to give it to you. They say, sure, Tom, because they was making money hand over fist.
Yes.
So, and I was making money, but I wasn't doing my money. I knew they had chunk money, and they wasn't paying me what I should again. But I was selling mixtapes. I was starting to DJ in small clubs. Like, okay, invest.
Yes.
So this record, I only pressed 300 first time. This record sold out in 2 days. And I sent 10 of them to Byron in Chicago.
Yes.
Because I knew the distributors. So he was like, yo, it's dirty. It was dirty, man. And I pressed it straight from the cassette. That means it's not mastered. It wasn't professionally done. It was a cassette tape of them playing around doing what they call a joke of a house record.
Yes.
This record blew up. Next thing you know, I had to do more pressings, and it became a hit in Chicago. So
wow.
I couldn't even keep up with how to press that many. Next thing you know, it started going overseas. And next thing you know, it was compared. It was called U.S. versus UK sound.
Yes.
Because it was dirty and grungy like us in America. You know what I mean? And Baltimore is there's a relationship to suppression and oppression and music. So if you go into the jungle, you're going to get either the war dance or the victor or the celebrating music.
Yes.
So people that's going through things tend to make the best music because there's pain in it.
Yes.
And there's happiness when it ain't pain. So I started noticing that, like, you know what? The reason why I'm getting all this attention is because I live in Baltimore. There's a little back town that still has some Jim Crow going on politically.
Yes.
And so while they were shutting our clubs down left and right, whenever they became big, then it just made us even better. We just had to open another club, and we had more and more resilience because in Baltimore it's always been.
Yeah.
So this record finally did it. So one day, it finally did it where this I was the first one to make this new sound in Baltimore called house. It went well, and it went well in Chicago, really well in Chicago and in England. So like, okay, now it was on my record label called Thommatized Records.
Okay.
I didn't have any publishing. I didn't even think about that. I had my word was to press it.
Yes.
The label was handed out anything. So I didn't get discouraged until a black college in Chicago sent me a nasty letter saying, what you're doing is a disrespect to the culture. And we're gonna request that record stores in Chicago remove you out of them.
Wow.
And here's why. The record was called Get the Hoe, but I changed the hoe to Hoe.
Okay.
Because I was like, no. Luke was just becoming popular. Like, hold it. There's a fine line.
Yeah.
So, but the name of the record. So I told you I covered it up for 2 months when I first got the acetate.
Yep.
So people would come back and say, when is that record coming out? I said, what record? The record by them niggas.
Wow.
And so I said, that's a great name. So DEMNIGGAV is the name of the group. Well, Chicago got mad and said, that's a derogatory thing to name the group them niggas. It said, we've been hundreds of years trying to get out of this, and then you make a record and you're going to call yourself them niggas. Oh, really? It's come down to that?
Wow.
I said, so they actually boycotted. But I knew that I had to stand by my guns because, and we're still fighting that term within our culture.
Yeah.
Because we say it, we don't mean it the way it's historically given.
Yeah.
But so that forced me. Then one day I met Teddy Douglas. He worked in another music liberated store that I used to work with. And I met Jay Steinhauer. And then he said, well, look, you got this record out that's doing this. We can make records. And so Jay said, look, I got some equipment, studio equipment, and you could come over, we can make some records. We could make some music. So I'm like, really? Okay, you know what? I'll try it. And I went over his house regularly, and we did records, and we didn't have vocalists or nothing. So one day when Ted said, you know what, Ted, won't we do Rose Royce? Love Don't Live Here Anymore.
Yeah.
Said, you're going to have to sing it, though. He said, fine. So we did it, and we asked another friend of ours that was a church musician to play the music.
Okay.
Just all the way up to New York, and we got signed to our first deal.
Wow.
With Eddie singing on it.
Wow.
We did it in New York because, we was primitive at best at our skills.
Yeah.
But it was the first time. And so the guy said, what do you want to call yourselves? It's like, well, at the time we was in Jay's basement. So we threw a whole bunch of names. I was like, well, how about Basement Boys? Because that's where we are. And that's where the name came from.
Wow.
So our first record. And it's like, okay. So Baltimore in shock again that homegrown people from Baltimore are making records. Where at the time where people thought that it only happened to people in other cities.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or it only happened with the local bands. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They would press their stuff. So we went to New York and we finished it up there. And after that, we did another one, and then we did another, and then Alternate Tate one day came into the record store and said, I want to sing on a record. You want to sing on a record, really? I said, this is in the record store, Kevin. I said, listen, sing something now. If you can sing right now with these people in here, then you can go in the studio. Because I hear that all the time. I want to sing.
Yes.
But she sang Angela Winbush, Angel, in the store.
Yes.
Like, come on, bam. Give me a phone number. And that's how she became Alternate Tate. She came in the studio and she sang It's Over Now.
Wow.
No more Me and You, I think we through. Don't change my head. Somewhere. So at the time, I'm still running back and forth to New Jersey and to Philly to listen to the Catacombs and to DC to listen to Mandro and Tito in the Clubhouse.
Yeah.
Because all were Richard Loud sound systems. So, back then the sound system meant more than the music.
Absolutely. Still does today. Still does today, brother. Still does today. Yep.
You better tell the engineer at that party that, man.
Yeah.
He almost had me act out. Anyway, I'm used to it. Anyway, I digress. So, so Ultra did that, and so we took it to Tony Humphries on a reel.
Yeah.
Tony like this, and Tony just, Tony. If you ever been in a booth with Tony or seen him, he would play equal records and reels. So we would give him reels, and he would. And he played this record, and next thing you know, he played it on BLS, and next thing you know, everybody's asking for this record, and he's like, wait a minute, we on to something. And me, I'm like, yeah, I've been on to something, but it keeps going. And it's like, okay, all right. So we started becoming business people. So we started going to the new music seminar, which is, before it's called Winter Music.
Yep.
It was a new music seminar in New York.
Okay.
So we elbow to elbow with industry people.
Yes.
And we had made our own jackets saying Basement Boys, you know what I mean? And we went to the parties, but we really went to the seminars so we could talk and meet people. And, you might run into Thommy Musta, you might run into Tommy Mottola from CBS.
I remember him.
Yep. Thing. And so we was there, and we had our little cassette tapes, demos on it, hey, with cards on it, whatever we could to get people to listen to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, and we also did that in D.C. They had a D.C. seminar. And one day this girl came up to me and said, hey, I hear y'all producers, and do y'all do jazz? Because we got a group, me and my friend here. But then we were like, we have a group. We do kind of jazz, soft music. It's like, so we'll listen. So she gave us a tape, and we listened to it. It's like, this girl is unique. So we called her back and said, listen, why don't you come in and record our kind of music, doing what you do?
Yes.
And she agreed, and that was Crystal Waters.
Wow.
All right. So, man, I'm tripping because I don't think about it.
I'm tripping too now. Wow.
So she left the guy with, because the guy wanted to maintain his integrity of what they were doing.
Yeah.
And to do what we were doing, she had to trust us.
Yes.
I mean, just, hey, do this. And so we initially bought her to write, because she was a brilliant writer and still is, write for Ultra. So we asked her to write. So she wrote Homeless for Ultra.
Yes.
But he sang it. It was like, no, you sing this record.
Yes. Yes.
So it went what you hear. It went like the way you hear it now. We went and did our /producer/DJ thing to it. Knew Humphrey's going to play it. We had made some other friends in other places. Like, you know what? So we looped a da da dee la 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 da dee la la la.
Yeah.
We knew that the people in dance floors react as a call and response, like a church thing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? They sing along. So that year, right after we made that record, it still wasn't signed or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It just getting amazing things from being on a tape.
Yeah.
So we went to when new music ended in New York and moved to become Winter Music in Miami.
Yes.
We had signed it to Mercury. So like we was thrilled. Like we're on Mercury Records. We're on a major label. We was already on Warner Brothers with Ultra. So we jumped from Jump Street Records in New York to Warner Brothers UK to Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
So we go in Miami to do our regular seminar thing, go to the seminar. We go to the parties at night, and they are banging Crystal Waters like hard, and people are screaming and yelling. We're standing there like shocked, like deer in headlights, like, really?
Yeah.
Because this record, it's like, oh, wow. And we already knew what it was doing home.
Yeah.
But strangers on a record, they had the demo. Everybody was playing. Every party we went to, they played.
Wow.
Every party.
Because that was like, that's like one of those songs that's like one in a million.
One.
Every now and then you'll get a song that will stand the test of time, and that's one of them. The other one, and I'm jumping off base right now. The other one is Trans Europe Express, Kraftwerks. Yeah. That's back in the 70s, but people still rocking that today.
Yeah, or update versions of it.
Yeah. Yeah. But go ahead. So I just want to share. But yeah, okay. Wow, Crystal Waters. Now, are you still in touch with her?
I'm producing her new album today.
What?
Right now. What?
That's all right. That's all right. My man standing the test of time. That's why I knew I had to get you on this platform, man. It's like, what don't you know? See, this is why I can say to you, you're legendary. Oh my God. That's all right. So, but let me ask this question now. So, have you ever done any gigs in Chicago where you're DJing? Have you done anything in the old Zanzibar or Paradise Garage or the Loft in New York City? Have you done any gigs there?
No.
Okay.
New York, just, I think I came close. Last year I did the House of Yes, but it had a water problem, that thing. I thought it was going to be it, like, for me.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian, and I see God's journey for me. So I kind of say, this is it. Here we go. We're going to go to New York. Like anything, like the Crystal Waters, like Ultra Latte, like Get the Whole, like the record stores. It's pretty clear in hindsight. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I see where I'm going. I see where I came from, and I can only imagine where I'm going.
Yes.
Book has been kind of reluctant. Now, so how I got to you was through Chris, who was like, he called me an experience and brought me to Philly. And when he brought me to Philly, Philly did the same thing. They just embraced me like, wow, this thing that I wasn't even getting in my hometown. You know what I mean? Because it's just, it's a small town.
Yeah.
So I went up there, and Chris, every time he brought me up there, he just was just screaming, like fascinated about this new thing. And I'll go into what that thing is in a minute.
Yeah.
But so then Chris got me to Mark, who got me to Trenton, who got me to Kevin, who got me in Cooper River.
Yeah.
So you see that it is a design that I am not doing. It's something bigger is making this design.
Got you.
You know what I mean? So through the process, I'm saying, well, why am I not like this? I mean, I got Grammy nominations, I got American Music Awards, I got Billboard Awards, I've got more hits on my resume equal to almost Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
Nobody, that's presumptuous. Nobody will equal to Quincy Jones, but like that in a dance way.
Yeah, no, I got you. I got you. Yeah,
one hit, and I've had several, and still making them, and one fashion or another. Now producing and executive producing them. So anyway, we after that, that thing came down. When we came back home, we cut on Living Colors, and they making a spoof out of the song, where you would have thought we was insulted.
Yeah.
But that spoof meant that, we have arrived.
Exactly.
If they can say, yeah, but it was do Scooby-Doo to our song.
Yeah.
So needless to say, the record store, I'm still trying to do 6 days at the record store.
Yeah.
And needless to say, the only thing that was keeping me going was cocaine.
Got you.
I could be in a record store at 10 in the morning after being in the studio till 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Just, let's go.
Ready to go.
So, I mean, that is I would never recommend anyone to do that, but it was the only way I could.
Understood.
It was in a period when the nightclub and drugs was synonymous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't a street thing. That's what you did in a nightclub.
Yeah.
So it was a way to stay functioned, to go to a nightclub and go at 10 o'clock at nighttime and leave 10 in the next day.
Yeah.
What? You ain't doing that.
And to dance all night. Yeah.
Right. You ain't on something.
Yeah.
And then drive back to Baltimore. And go to work. So all of a sudden, me and the guys, me, Teddy, and Jay, sat down and said, we got Crystal, who they wanted an album, and Ultra. We was working on Ultra's album. It was just tedious for guys that was being bum rushed into the circus. It's like, wait a minute, we have to keep stepping up to do more.
Yes.
Now, to make hits, we could make a record you like, but we have to work on it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Got it right. But if you're doing an album, that's 12 cuts.
Yeah.
And then you got Crystal saying they need an album for Mercury. And we're like, okay. And I'm still going to work, and Jay's still going to work, and Teddy's still going to work. We said, listen, it's time. We're going to figure out how to take this money and pay each other so that we don't have to work because we can't meet the demand.
Yeah.
It was a sad day because I swore I was like, I don't want to leave the record store.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the only way I could have been a producer. It's like, I can't do it. I need to sleep. I need to rest. And we was going flying over England. We was doing a lot of stuff that a job don't permit.
Yeah.
When I started a record store, every time I'm not there, customers turn around and walk out.
Yeah.
So, informed them and say, hey, I gotta leave. It's sad. I gotta go. But you know what? You see, you got Crystal's Gold records sitting over here on the wall, and like they could, I was also a Billboard reporter, so they saw the trajectory happening.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I had to leave, and we all left our jobs. We went out on blind faith, not really having enough to sustain, but having enough that we wouldn't starve. And we had to invest in more equipment to actually do it. And Jay invested time and equipment on it, and he was like just ingenious with getting that sound that we needed because we wanted the Boy Jarvis sound. Rest in peace, Boy Jarvis, because Boy was master of the bass line and all the records that we liked. Boy was normally the guy behind it.
Yes.
And we was fans of Jovan, who also like Pam and Curry Chandler. These guys are sound wizards. So we had to become sound wizards. That takes equipment. It takes time, and we can't do that if we're working in a record store.
Yeah.
Or Jay's going to work for 8 hours a day, and then come home. You want to rest, but you got to work in the studio. Anyway, so all of a sudden we had another record called Tonight. Tell him that I want to make love with him tonight. The MCA calls us with Bobby Shaw. Like, I want to sign into MCA. Like, okay, wait a minute. We're going to be on Warner Brothers, UK and Warner Brothers, US and Mercury here, and MCA at the same time.
Wow.
And we're going to put that single out, and the Sound Factory bar and the Sound Factory was blowing this record up. So, okay, all right, we need an album. So Bobby's saying, I need an album from you guys. And we're like, how are we going to, we could barely have enough time to do one album. Now we have 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's going on. So we had to adjust to neither of us went in this for that.
Got you.
We went in because we love the music. We didn't go in there to work ourselves to skeletons. But we said we can adapt. We can learn. If they can do it, we can learn. And we went out and we got an SSL board. It's a very expensive board. We bought a building. We got out of the basement. It's like, okay, we got to invest this. We don't have to become Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. And so, guess what? It was to me. I got married, my wife and stuff. She was pregnant. I'm still going. I'm still running. I'm still running. I'm still going to the clubs because me, I'm a clubhead. The sound comes from hanging out.
Yeah.
So if you're not hanging out, you don't know what the sound is, and it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Evolving. So the drugs had a toll, which was swinging emotions, and a lot of things happen when you put anything artificial in your body. Yes. When you open your spirit, that yes, you might make it good for what you're trying to do now, but you got a pendulum swing when it go the other way.
Yes. Yes.
That you got. So we started fighting, me, Teddy, and Jay. And in the meantime, we ran into some guys that were sent to us from D.C., and they wrote this song, and it became an anthem. It's like, oh, my God. So this record was called Lift Every Voice.
Okay.
And the record went crazy. And Thommy Mottola of CBS invited us to CBS, to his office. There was a long hallway of platinum and gold records, Michael Jackson, a whole bunch of stuff. We like, is this really happening?
Yeah.
So we sat in there with him, and he signed us to CBS.
Wow.
So we on CBS Records, MCA, to Warner Brothers, and Mercury.
Wow.
Needless to say, we still had minimum underground stuff because I'm an underground person. So as sister, we still do underground stuff. So we had 33rd and the Queen, and we had Profile Records.
Wow.
So we had New Groove and Profile. So
wow.
all this stuff is happening in a short period, and we're running. Eventually, it paid a toll on me trying to be a DJ and do this and deal with my wife and deal with, a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes. So
my wife, I spent so much time in the studio. She would come to the studio and disrupt it, like, when you coming home? Like, you ain't never home.
Yeah.
So eventually, we just, being a fellas, like most groups, if you're not really tight and understand each other, we just disagreed. So one of the things the majors wanted us to do is to do R&B also. Like, yeah, we can sell this dance music, but you got to have some other kind of stuff on the album.
Yeah.
I had no interest. Until to this day, I have no interest. As soon as someone say that, you're going to hear the door shut. And what happened to Thommy? He left. When you said R&B, he left. Mm-hmm. I'm still like that today. So when they started requesting that, I was like, look, we three guys, and Teddy loves music. So he loves R&B, jazz, all that. So he said, look, I can handle that. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and give them the modern sound of soul to soul, so that they can balance the album up. I'm like, I don't want to do that. To me, it's compromise. I'm not doing it. They said, fine, we'll do it. Well, after a while, and they spent so much time doing that, I'm just sitting back rolling my joints and it's like, let me know where y'all want to do some real music. And it just separated us. And then eventually we had one too many fights. Gotcha. And it was like, oh, buy me out. Y'all can have it. Y'all can have it because y'all not going to do what I want to do. And they said, well, you don't want to do this R&B stuff. And they knew that I could if I wanted to. Mm-hmm. I came from, but I had no desire. Yeah. I'm like, how crazy? I'm like, no, this is all I want to do.
Yeah.
So I had a problem with majors that were coming to us for the sound, but asking us to change the sound for something else. Yeah. Like, wait a minute, why are you coming to us then? So they was like, Tom, you are just disruptive and rebellious, and you know what? Maybe it'd be best if we just break up. And I was like, fine. We broke up.
Wow. And
that was right after we did 100% Pure Love from back in the 100% Pure Love.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I got you. Yeah, I remember that.
That was the last record that I did with Chris.
Okay. Now let me add, let's really fast forward now. So now, when did you start dressing up in the costumes, the showpieces? When did you do that, and why did you do that?
Well, believe it or not, in Baltimore, in a record store, I was doing that.
Okay.
But it was just me and my personality.
Got you.
And I met my wife in the club, and she was just this fashion model, but kind of eclectic like me. That's why we picked it up.
Got
so
you.
I've been doing it the whole time. I didn't take it to a show level until 6-7 years ago in England.
Okay.
I went over there for a Baseball reunion, and we all had on Baseball Boy shirts, but underneath of it, I had intricately put diamonds on my skin all over.
Wow.
And I said, then when it's my turn to do whatever, I'm going to take the shirt off. And underneath this shirt, I have on enough diamonds to choke Liberace.
Wow.
So he said, I don't care. So I did it. Well, afterwards, the promoter and the manager came up and said, dude, you don't belong doing this with them. They said, I mean, it's fine that you're doing it with them, but you are a unique thing. You need to find your way on your own.
Yes.
You're compromising yourself, and you can see the rub when they're trying to be a team. Me, Spin, Charisma, Teddy. And then you come out and you got to be the one that go out. You're the fifth heartbeat. Won't you just go be yourself?
Yeah.
And I listened to him. When I came back to Baltimore, that very same month, I did the same thing in Paradox. And it just sent it off where people started giving me recognition for being eclectic.
Yes.
And bang the music. You know what I mean? There was, for some reason, they never paid me any attention until it was something to look at. And when they was watching me, then they could hear me.
Yeah.
So I started setting a tone. Like, you know what, this is what I do. Well, many people know me from the record stores and stuff like this, but they've got too old. They don't even come out no more.
Got you. But I tell you what though, and we had talked about this before. Theatrically speaking, man, you are a show within the show itself, because they are wanting to come and hear your style of play. But they also never know, what are you coming to the stage as? I mean, what are you going to be dressed up as? You know, so you got some signature uniforms, man. But we just love it, and I think it's good for the music. I think it's good for the industry, and it certainly sets yourself apart, right? So, but when you came to Trenton, you know, a week ago, right? And you did the wings. That was like crazy, man. I love it because you said, like, could I do my wings? I'm like, yo, go ahead, do the wings, brother. They want the whole experience. When did that part come in, man? When did you decide to add wings, right, and the mask?
All right. Again, I can't take credit. My father did that. I had to do a party in D.C. Yes. And on the phone, the guy had a black guy with his back turned with huge white wings on.
Yes.
So, and he was similar to my physique. So people automatically, because I'm already was eclectic, said, hey, is that you on that flyer? That is dope. Yo, where you get the wings from? And I'm like, I don't have wings like that. I don't have anything like that. So by the time the party came up, a friend of mine found some theatrical wings and said, here, man, to wear these wings.
Yes.
And I almost cried, like, okay, now I can actually do these wings that's on this flyer. And I'm only thinking about this one part.
Yeah.
And it set it off.
Yes, it
to
did.
Where people started requesting it. I mean, me, like, you know, I don't want to set my guitar on fire. But the promoters asked for it. You know what I mean? That's why I asked you. I sat down. I said, Kevin, what do you want me to do? Do you want me not wear it? Do you want me to keep? Do you want me not just don't go down to my diamond encrusted shorts or nothing? You know, I have to respect what the promoter is expecting.
No, man, give them the full story, brother, and you did, and they enjoyed you.
But I was prepared to do another way of doing it.
Yes.
Just in case people say, nah, you know, I got some of my church family in here, and no, that part stopped, and that went off. And also, you got to remember, I'm also the president of Collective Minds.
Yeah. Now, I want you to stop right there, because the laughter, my laughter and your laughter went two different ways. So the reason why I was laughing, because you said church folk, right? And you were starting to have a conversation that evening, and you were talking about how you were the pastor of 6 churches. And I'm like, wait, hold up. I want to interview this brother, but I don't want him to tell me that now. How did that part come about, where you are now the pastor of 6 churches?
Yeah, we're jumping all over the place. Okay, a minister.
A minister, yes.
All right. So, picture this, Baltimore. Now,
yes.
About pre-pandemic.
Yes.
So, actually, from alternate take, we did a song called Rejoice.
Yes.
The alternate, and it's still an anthem to this day. It's Rejoice. And over the years, we've done little subtle gospel records, you know, because we're affiliated with a lot of believers.
Yes.
In my recovery from that ugly period, you know what I mean? Not ugly, that period that had happened to be who I am now.
Yes.
I became more zealous in understanding that I am not the person that's deciding my path.
Okay.
So when pandemic, when everything shut down. Now for a DJ, when pandemic means that all of a sudden I'm not playing in clubs, I'm not doing festivals, I'm not doing nothing, I can't hug people. And house music is all of those things.
Yes.
We hug each other, we kiss each other, we dance with each other, all those things. And the pandemic just, to me, said, this is over. This was a beautiful ride, but it's over. Oh, Lord, I'm done. I have to go to get to my degrees that I have 4 degrees. It's like, I can use these degrees and I didn't want to ever use them. So I started doing a show on Monday night. In that show, I started playing gospel house with everything, because to me it's not a thing. But I noticed that I was starting to get believers coming in just to get to that part. So I said, okay, brainstorm. What I'm gonna do, and this thing started in my backyard, just me recording in daylight in the backyard. So then I said, I'm gonna add a Friday where it'll be nothing but that.
Yes.
So I started doing it, and we're in pandemic, and people are respirators. You know, it was an ugly time in history in America. I mean, we probably can't remember as horrible as it was, but our friends were dying or sick, or you know what I mean. It was just horrible. So my show became an outlet for people stuck in a house.
Yes.
And because I'm putting a message with it, not just playing the music, I'm talking about what God is and what lifts your head up. I'm saying motivating things, and I'm using sermons from other people like records. Now I am mixing sermons on top of the records, like the way you would mix two records.
Yes.
So people are sending me messages and crying, "Oh, you got me through. I just lost my mom. You got me through it." So then a church called me from D.C. and said, "Hey, could you do that in our church?"
Wow.
Yeah. And it's still a pandemic. And I said, well, we have. They said we have a basement or whatever. Just come. Wow. Oh man. Hold on one second. I'm still getting calls. Do not disturb. This does not mean do not disturb.
Yeah. It's good, bro. I got you.
So I went to meet them. So I walked in, and it was a big brick and mortar church, like big, like the ones you see in Rome.
Yeah.
It was like that. So I went to meet them, and it was a young black lady that was taking over a church in pandemic, because these big churches still have to pay mortgage or whatever like this. So they let other people use them when their parishioners and didn't want to come in anymore because of pandemic.
Oh yes. Uh-huh.
So I met her, and it was like the way I met you. She said, I met her, I came in and sat and talked with her about, my journey and what God has done and what I've been through and all this kind of stuff. And she said, at the end of the conversation, she said, okay, here are the keys. You can do whatever you want in this church. I said, well, anything? She said, anything you want. We got a full basement. You can bring sound system lights. I said, I don't want to do that. I said, what you mean you don't want to do that? I said, I want the sanctuary. I said, I want to be in God's sanctuary. She said, no problem. You set it up, you be in the sanctuary. And for 2 years, I was in that sanctuary.
Wow.
Every Friday. If it was Christmas time, I had chrysanthemums around me. If it was this, and you stained glass and everything. And where it grew and the people grew, next thing you know, a church in Delaware said, hey, can you get him to anoint our church?
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I'm in Delaware. And in Delaware church. And they said, okay, then they moved from the church in D.C. to a bigger church. Like, okay, we're going to move you here. And matter of fact, I was supposed to be in the Bronx. I was supposed to be in Boston. All these things. But because I'm still doing what I'm doing, even though it's pandemic, and I take care of my elderly mother, it's like, you know what? I'm going to be traveling that far.
Yeah.
When the pandemic.
Now you know, Thommy, as you are telling this story about your connection to the church and being a minister, right? You are giving off, and no offense, you are giving off Carl Bean vibes, brother.
Oh yeah, I'd never meet him, man.
Huh?
I never had a chance.
Because when we would go to I only went to the garage twice because of my cousin. She had membership. But when they would rock this song in Zanzibar, me and the boys, we would sing this, man. We would sing it like we knew the song in the back of our hand, right? We would sing all the words and everything, right? But we never knew what the song meant until we got into.
Are you serious?
Bro. Listen to me, man. I want to tell you a quick story first while you were talking about Crystal Waters, right? When they got to that part where it says la da dee da da da, well, we didn't know what she was singing, so we were saying, "May I please have $1? May I please have $1?"
Are you serious?
I'm saying, bro, we didn't know what the refrain was, so we was like, that sounds about right.
Wait, Kev. I'm happy, I'm carefree, and I'm gay. What was y'all singing there?
We was singing that, man. We would be in the clubs, right? We would be driving. We would be driving up to the club, and it would be on because sometimes you had BLS had to mix on, you know what I'm saying, or we had it on the tape, and we like, I'm a little bit of boy from a little bit of boy, we never knew what that meant, and then all of a sudden, the internet blows up, right? And then it says, I don't know how we did it, but somehow someone Googled Carl B and it was like, oh shit, we didn't know this.
Oh, I can't believe they never played the whole record for y'all.
Huh?
If they played the whole record, it started off slow.
Yeah, no. I'm walking through life in nature's disguise. You laugh at me and you criticize. We were so gung-ho into house. We never thought about that, bruh. I'm happy, I'm carefree, and I'm gay. I was born. We never thought about those words. We was just singing, bruh. We was just singing. And then when somebody told us about they Googled it, we was like, oh shit. and so now, that I'm older, and when I sing it now, it's like I'm cool because I'm a man. I know about my stuff, and ain't nobody going to approach me because we can fight now.
Right. It's a song.
It's a song, and I'm a house head, so we vibe to all of that now. But when it first came out, me and the boys, the words, it had meaning, but we didn't understand that. Just like with YMCA. Remember the song YMCA?
Yeah.
We would sing that when we were playing football, getting dressed or to play a game. Why? And nobody knew what those words meant, man. Until some years later, bruh. We was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
When you talked about, when you talked about being a minister and being in the 6 churches, I'm like, this is another Carl Bean. That's all right. I want to really interview this brother, So yeah, that's all right, man. Yeah.
I'm always was a Christian, even in active addiction. I still was.
Yeah.
I walked away from bullets. I walked away from guns being pulled in my head. Just walked away, and there's something that just made me walk away from. I was in Baltimore City jails a couple times.
Wow.
And I've just got through the gangs, and I'm not saying I got through unscathed, but I got through.
Understood.
So to actually get clean 23 years ago,
yes,
is this journey that you're asking about. Is when I got quite comfortable with going back to school, first proving that I got an education and that I got I had a GPA of 4.0 through 5 years of school that put me in accelerated programs when people were telling me that you can't do this, and that just made me mad. And because around the world, when they meet you, they just think that all black people play basketball, all black people can play. All black people, and I just got tired of it. I said, you know what? I need some paper so I can whip my doctorate out, or I can whip my awards out for academia, and that's what I did. And I did that just to prove to myself and to everything that I am not just a talented watermelon sucking black guy. I am a man of intelligence. Actually, I'm no smarter than anybody else who said it, white, black, or any other color.
Got you.
You know what I mean? Prove that because what I went through.
Yes, sir.
I had to prove it to the thing, and it also helped me through the recovery period. So, and here's the kicker. In it, I took double majors. So normally in college, a semester is 12. I had 24 every semester.
Wow.
So I'm still an addict. I'm just not getting high. I'm doing drugs. I'm doing books.
Yeah. Understood.
So I also did plays and musicals.
Okay.
And that introduced me to theatrics.
Yes.
Like, you know what? I'm quite comfortable on the stage. You know, I did Pearly and Color Purple and Dream Girls, and you know, I mean, I can't sing what you are. Anybody listening, you know, really can't. But I did it anyway.
Yes.
I started challenging everything instead of telling myself I can't. Do it anyway.
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
they got
I love it, man. I love it.
And then I did an art show. Then I started winning poetry awards for writing poetry. And I was like, I can do anything I want to do. All the time I wait doing just one thing, I can do many, many more.
Gotcha.
So when I got back to DJing again, and me and Spin got back together after I went through, you know, the classic in the movie, you know, the classic part of the movie when, oh, Lord, he's there. Except I didn't die.
Yeah.
So Ben was like, bro, I believe in you. Like, yo, for real, I never will ever turn your back on me. And I said, you know what? And I will never use it anymore again either. So, you know what? And we've been that tight since then. It's like, despite saying, yo, he's going to go back out. He's going to go back out. People don't wish the best for you. But they don't know my whole story. Yeah. And they're going to do what they're going to do. So
I thank you for sharing part of your story here, brother. I'm sorry I interrupt you. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, the ministry actually touched me.
Yeah.
Where I thought about pursuing it and, you know what I mean, saying, hey, because I actually could feel it. And I realized the whole time, every time I play music, that's what I'm feeling.
Yes.
I'm feeling something out of body, something otherworldly. I'm in a place where it's just running through my veins. When I get off that stage, when I finish playing, most of the time, somebody has to escort me to the seat. I'm almost exhausted.
Wow.
I'm like, in Jersey, when they want to stand in line, I had to break away and say, I got to de-escalate or rotate.
Yeah.
But because what happened with the engineer, it gave me time before I got off to calm. For me, it's a moment. And when I'm in that moment, I don't remember anything until I come out of it.
Wow.
And then to gather it together. So the ministry was the caveat point where I realized that, you know, this whole journey is not about disco. It's not about house. It's not about that. It's about reaching people. And it just taught me the skills that I could actually become a minister in a church and have followers.
Yes.
But maybe not yet. But the churches kept coming to me and saying, hey, you know, and eventually one came to Baltimore and said, hey, one in Baltimore said, hey, can you do that in Baltimore? And they just stand there with their mouth open and realize that they have these preconceptions that dance music is something of sin or something of, you know, sacrilegious or because of the connotation they have from Studio 54 and other things until they see me do it. And they says, okay, you know what? We had the wrong idea. Dude,
gotcha. Yes.
We get it. We get it 100%. So it's been something I can't stop now. And so I didn't get my title minister. They did. So now I have in Mexico. I have a ministry in Bermuda. It's just no matter where, it's still happening.
Wow.
And it's like, oh, ignore it. You know, I can't ignore it. It's how I survived.
Yes.
So that I became, they say I don't wear titles like legendary or minister or number. People put them on you.
Yes.
So that's the name of that.
No, I got it. So I want to tell you, I want to sing one more song for you. Then I want to ask you my big question. Remember the song by the Peach Boys, "Don't Make Me Wait"?
Yeah, I was in the record store there.
Yeah, same thing with that song. We had no idea what that meant. You know? So.
What you mean you had no idea? It's pretty clear.
Huh?
It's pretty clear, Cass.
Listen, call me naive or whatever you want to call me, but when the Peach Boys was singing that song, yeah, we understood the words, but we didn't know who the Peach Boys were.
Okay.
And so again, we didn't know, nor did it bother us. But once we knew, it's
You know more than I know about that song. Is some of the connotations that I missed?
Well, so if I understand correctly, I know the words in "Don't Make Me Wait," right?
Mm-hmm.
But to me, when I heard it, I thought it was a guy singing it to another woman. But it's not that. It's a guy singing for another guy.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know. Yeah, because I mean, Peach Boys, they, you know, the group itself.
Well, they were a garage group.
Come on, man, go figure.
So you know, I'm not surprised at all. At all.
Yeah, we can go down this rabbit hole 1,000 times. That certainly can be another conversation, because remember now, the house music scene was not a heterosexual sound when it first came out. This was a private gay sound that were primarily in the gay clubs. This was their collective song. This is how they were coming together. And it was only through the playlists, you know, being leaked out into the radio stations did regular folks begin to hear about this. And so that's why when you go to a lot of these reunions, right, you're going to see 50-50, or sometimes you'll see 90-10. And when I say 10, it could be 10%, you know, heterosexual. The other one is the gay LGBT community. And we're okay with that. So when these songs were coming up, we just didn't know, man, and call it a large degree of naiveness. We were singing these songs, but we were like totally clueless, man, on a lot of these songs. I'm sorry.
Okay, and that's not a bad thing. I mean, I can explain later on what they're really about. Like, I did not know.
Yeah.
Ironically, what you're talking about was a major point for house music, because house was born in the gay clubs.
Exactly.
All right. But so when it extended outside of it, a lot of the naysayers to house music just kept berating it by saying it's gay music for years. You know what I mean? Saying it's gay music. Yeah. And that didn't stop till recently, you know what I mean? Recently when Afro or some other records came out, and the general person can now relate to it without having that connotation.
Well, I mean, it still has a connotation, because it goes back to the originality of the source. But we're okay with that now, because everybody is comfortable with who they are. You know, but back then, you know, when this was like considered underground music, you know, I mean, if you loved house, you loved house, and you weren't thinking in anything else but going for the music, waiting for the beat to drop and hearing your favorite DJ play.
You are from a lucky demographic. For the most part, most people don't have that history. They don't have that.
Gotcha.
And they know that where roots of it came from. Now they just know that it's house music, and they know that a lot of their gay friends like it, but they don't think of it as it came from them.
Yeah.
They think that they just played it earlier than us.
How do you think I got inside the garage?
Oh, you had to do. How I got no doubt. They would not let me in the club on Friday, Saturday nights when my college friends was in there.
Exactly.
So I had to dress up in punk rock night.
Gotcha.
Going on Monday.
Yeah.
It was a game. And once I went in there, I could get on any night. But I didn't go there other nights anymore. It's like, wow, the music is totally different.
Yeah. You know, and my cousin had a membership, because otherwise I could not get in. You had to have membership.
So I'm gonna tell you a funny quick story.
Yeah.
And recently, me, Crystal, and Ultra, I was a governor for the Recording Academy, which is the Grammys.
Yes.
So there's a chapter. So they started recognizing that all my long history and stuff, and say, hey, we need a person for the Baltimore chapter.
Yes.
And I'll do it. And it was a 2-year reign. So I pulled together Ultra and Crystal and said, listen, we need to go to them and beg, plead, or go through whatever channels. We need to make a category that represents how way it was built.
Yes.
And so we wrote this long thing a petition about it, about how house came out of the gay clubs, and it's a tragedy that EDM, you honoring the EDM, and you're putting us in a category with them when they are bastards of the gay category. So won't you make a category that is true, like any other category?
Yes.
You like it was called traditional house.
Yes.
and we fought it all the way up, and it still got shot down. They're just not ready to do it because I think because it still represents the urban demographic, which is black. You know what I mean? So it's not because of prejudice; it's because of money.
Yeah, but
the young people are more money. I mean, them guys pay $100 to go to a concert and will fill a stadium.
Yeah.
So it's a no-win. We didn't want to take anything from them. We wanted to make a category where Monique Bingham could win. You know what I mean? A category where Josh Milan could win. You know what I mean? And with other people of his caliber.
Yeah.
To say, but they didn't want to go for it. That would be recognizing. That would be saying, in essence, that this music, like rock and roll, like everything else, started within the black community, and they've been hiding that for years.
But so that conversation that you're having right now leads us to the next conversation, the next thought, right? Okay. You started Collective Minds.
Me and a group of other friends. I would never. I'm not that guy.
Okay, understood. But remember, in the past 5 years, you guys have been doing that period of time like the hottest ticket, on the East Coast, bro. Collective Minds, man. Because I started going recently to the Soul Summit, right? In Fort Greene, right? And I thought that was one of the oldest house music festivals, and come to find out it's the second outside of Chosen Few in Chicago. And then I was doing some research, and I said, Collective Minds, you guys are like 20, 21 years in too.
21, yeah.
21. So I'm like, God, Lee, man, these brothers are doing it. So this year, I didn't go this year because, man, tickets and other responsibilities. But you guys are doing your thing, and I promise I'm going to try to get there this year. And who knows, I may even come with my podcasting equipment to interview.
Yeah, man.
So, but yeah, so tell me the backstory as to why you started Collective Minds.
Well, it was me and some other DJs, 4 or 5 of us, to say, hey, let's do a picnic.
Yes.
In the park. And at the first one, we didn't even have permits.
Gotcha.
And we didn't even have a pack order. So there was no president, there was no vice president. It was just, hey, we're going to do this party.
Yes.
And it was maybe no more than 150 people.
Yes.
And then next year, we got the permit. And then, we slowly got a stage. Then we started inviting the artists. And then we started getting bigger sound systems came in. And then it had its height during when Baltimore had the riots on Penn North in Baltimore, where the riots where Freddie Gray and them got hurt, killed and stuff.
Yeah.
So Collective Minds is only 6-7 blocks from that.
Got you. So
Baltimore was in pain.
Yes.
And that year, everybody, non-house and house, came onto it. It was 15,000 people.
Wow.
That's the first time we've seen that many people.
Yeah.
Because it's always in the dead heat of summer. And as you know, people of color don't like black.
What?
So that year, we just happened to move it into the trees.
Yes.
And that made it go for 12 hours straight. We had the DA of Baltimore come in. We had the Oriole Bird. We had people on stilts. We was actually trying to do a more family-oriented party. Meaning that we didn't promote alcohol. We tell them, hey, if you're going to smoke your weed, just do it discretion-wise, but there's families out here, and we don't want you to expose our kids. This is before it was legalized.
Yeah.
We still hold on to that because our youth are important. Like, you know what? They're going to one day do it on their own. Let's not encourage them.
Yeah, but man, I saw your videos. How many people you have this year?
we actually don't count.
Okay.
Last count was like 9,000, and that was in Poly. See, what happened? I had to move out that park. The park, because it had no boundaries, it became a go-to for people that are not house heads.
Yeah.
So you start including other elements. You bring in all the negative stuff that comes in with other.
Absolutely.
You know what I
mean? Yes.
And I'm being held responsible because I've been president for about 10 years.
Okay.
All right. So we had to do these offices to become a nonprofit at one time.
Yes.
So I became president, and all of a sudden I just changed the goal. So look, let's make sure we remain totally house heads.
Mm-hmm.
Let's remain that way because we can't deal with dirt bikes and people that's just out there hollering at women, disrespecting our women and stuff because they're there for other motives than the spiritual essence of house.
Yes.
So I had to downgrade it to accumulate money to be able to do it in a bigger way and protect people by not inviting negative elements.
Yes.
Like, well, one thing we don't serve alcohol.
Gotcha.
And if you look at the things that happen, the violence, it's normally alcohol plays a major part of it. So to me, just me, it's like, how about if we don't feed them alcohol? And that way they stay who they are. They stay in character. They're not, alcohol makes people say things they have no other courage to say any otherwise. Like, let's keep them calm. Let's keep them dancing. Let's keep them in a love fest. Mm-hmm. And they find that's what it is.
Yeah, no, I get it. But also understand that house is of a older genre, right? So the average age of a house head is probably going to be between, I would say 55 and up.
Was.
So
we're now bringing other ones, and we're bringing in a younger generation. Right now in Baltimore, the average house is now 30.
Okay. Yeah, but I'm saying, and you might be right. I'm just saying that when you looked at this past week when you were down here in Trenton, right? The average age was 55 and up.
Yeah.
When I go to these house music festivals, right? The average age is probably 40 and up. Because you're looking at folks that are from old school, and some of the jokers, you could be dancing next to a joker, and he's 70 years old because he old school from the original Zanzibar or the Loft or someplace like that,
or Nickel Bar. Or,
yeah.
Right, yeah.
And so us folks of age, man, we not looking for no drama. I come out there with my little cigar. I got my little shot in my glass by myself. I'm cool, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I personally have been doing is making sure that I don't discriminate because just like I was 25 or something, 26.
Yes.
When house came on, there was no discrimination. House was for everyone.
Yeah.
So I was everyone, but now but I'm trying to expose them to the same thing because when they get tired of trap and they get tired of the fighting and the whole thing, they're going to, and this was I'm watching this happen. They're coming to house.
Yes.
Because there's an open invitation to it.
Yes.
Like, don't you tired of fighting? You're married now. You have 3 kids. They're all under 9.
Yes.
You know what? You don't need drama.
Exactly.
So we're seeing the age come down some, and we have to. I'm sorry, nothing against you, Kevin, but your knees are gone, man. You can't dance.
Listen, man, the patented 2 steps will always keep me in the fight, brother. But I feel you. No, but I'm glad that you guys are bringing in the younger DJs because they're going to keep the genre going, man. They're going to keep it going, right? They're going to bring the youthful enthusiasm to it, man. Yeah, they're going to keep it going.
Jordan, Justin, the DJ, and me. If you talk to these guys are grown, mature people that are 100% house heads.
Oh, no question. I have never that's the other thing too, man. The one thing I love about you, man, is you are so humble. Anyone that I talk to and we talk about the show you just did, they are like blown away, first of all, that you gave them so much time. You were willing to take so many pictures and videos. The first thing out of his mouth is, Yo, that brother is humble and he's talented, and that's what I want to say to you, man. There is no ego about you, bro. Your work certainly speaks for itself. And I was nervous when I was going to ask you of this request. You're like, bro, I got you. You tell me when. I'm like, oh my God, Thommy, I get to interview Thommy. Like, what? So,
Yeah.
so brother, you are so humble. And the other DJs, and there's a lot of DJs that are out here that are old school that I can pick up the phone with and have conversations. But you are the first that says, I got time for you, Kevin. Let's do this interview, right? So I thank you, man. I thank you. But the young boys, I hope to get just a DJ and Amir. I hope to get them on the podcast one day. Yeah.
Just let me know. Y'all talk to them.
Well, listen, when we go off record, and once we finish this, I'm going to call you and ask you to put me in touch with them, because I would love to bring them to Trenton, and certainly would love to get them on the podcast as well. Or maybe get you to circle back around. But I got to ask a few more questions, then I'm gonna let you go. Who was your biggest influencer in this music genre, man? In this music career, who was your biggest influencer?
A guy called Mandrill Harris.
Mandrill Harris. All right.
Yeah.
Tell us about him.
I worked with him at Music Liberated, one of the first store I worked at for a minute, but he taught me the fundamentals of a song.
Got you.
And I was still very much a beat thing. I understood breaks and stuff like that, but he broke it down into the different sections of a song.
Yes.
And he was really, and still is, really could take a record and dissect it.
Yes.
And change it right on the dance floor. It's like, wow. In other words, remixed it live.
Got you.
So that changed it. So when you hear me play, you hear him. You hear me like, yes, I can play Hey Hey. That record been out for 6 years, but I'm not going to play it the way you heard it. I'm going to keep on reinventing it so you don't be bored with something you heard 6 years ago.
Yes. Yes.
So that is me in a nutshell. It's called, they nicknamed it Thommatized, but what it is just me doing that. It's like, I have the ability, the equipment to change the way a song goes.
Yes.
So I'm going, and they call it Thommatized.
Thommatized.
Yeah.
I say it was Thommatized. but it's all good. I got you. Thommatized. I got you.
Yeah. So that's been up and down the coast. And
yes.
It's good for me. The people love it because it's a sporadic, energetic energy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're pretty linear now.
Yes.
You know what I mean? With Afro and stuff, you know what I mean? There's nothing, I'm saying it's not better or worse. I'm just saying it's linear. So they had strayed away from the throw your hands up and just run around like, oh my God, I can't take it. And I aim for that. I like a certain tension.
Yes.
What they're selling the spirituality, I'm selling the tension.
Yes.
Like, you know what? Worked all week long. You know what? Yes, you got problems. Yes, you got mortgage. Yes, your kids. Yes, but you know what? For this minute, get into this. Bam.
Yeah.
Bam. Like, all right.
Yeah.
It's what house started out being, and I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it.
Now, Thommy, looking at a crystal ball, right? Where are you? Where are we 5 years from now, bro?
I'm off Broadway in 5 years.
Okay.
I'm off Broadway and I'm in Vegas.
Okay.
Because I want to expand the Black culture beyond. Right now, the bigger Burning Mans and stuff like that, these festivals, the DJs play on that. They can put a mouse in on, and they're getting every bit of $500,000.
Yeah.
Per person.
Yeah.
Now, when I play, if I continue to stay just in a marginalized market, then I don't have enough power to do stuff like change the recording academy, or you know what I mean. The more power, it's not for my ego. It's so that we can change some things because money talks.
Yeah. And,
power talks.
And I heard that a lot, man. And that's one of the things that's all. That's one of the things that I find interesting and somewhat hurtful, because I look at some of the old school, grandfathers of house music, right?
Mm-hmm.
And some of those guys get nowhere near what Black Coffee is getting.
Nowhere near. No.
And if it wasn't for those guys and you guys, Black Coffee would not exist. And I remember a few years back, I went to Vegas for my birthday, and Black Coffee was in residency there. And so he was in residency for almost I want to say 6 months to a year. And so I know he was getting big money. I don't know how much, but it certainly was no $5,000. He was probably somewhere in the $100,000, if not more range.
Easy.
And I'm saying, how do we get our DJs? And that's typical, right? That's typical where black folk, we will create something, but then the other folk, will come and see the value in it. And next thing you know it, we can't even afford what we created.
Exactly. So I personally, that's my goal.
Yes.
Is to get the norm.
Yes.
It's like break. And I think almost every festival in Jersey has hit me up last year and said, "Dude, you got to come." It's like, all right, I'm going to show something new, to give it a shot in the arm,
yes,
which makes attention to it and don't think it's just some kind of Zulu tribe party. It's like, no, it's a little bit of everything. And where I can play for white boys, I can play for black boys, I can do all kinds of things in order to do what we need to be done, because I'm quantized and unquantized in Q. And it's like, you know what? I'm more than a DJ.
Yes.
I'm also Motown of house. So therefore, I DJ it, I make the records, and I run a label, and I kind of do all the things that make me a 5-star general.
Yes.
So with a little bit more power, then I can do a Burning Man or make one.
Yes.
Like, you know what? Here's a party. Here, just like, my man Ray and, and Fort Green and them and all of them. It's like, hats off, because, that's one way. The free party, despite people don't like it, because, it's promoters, but it's the easiest way to keep people in it.
Yeah.
It's free. It's free. Like, come on. So I want to do more stuff like that. I want to change the game. I don't want to be like Muddy Waters, some of our predecessors that got lost, and because they was fighting a battle that is a long battle. They may have lost a battle, but I'm here to win the war.
Absolutely.
So I am Little Richard. I am Cad Calloway. I am James Brown. I am Slappy White, and many, many more. Duke Ellington, the ones that had to fight the same battle I'm fighting.
Yes.
But I'm fighting it. And it's not a white and black thing. It's a people thing. People don't like change.
Yes.
They just don't change. They want to see everything look like what they expect. And that without that change, there's no growth.
Yeah. But listen, no. Listen, that's a beautiful story. But listen, when you go to Vegas to do your residency, call me, man, because I want to come out and broadcast live from the podcast. I can do my residency right along with you, bro.
I just want to do it. It's just a benchmark for me. It's like, okay, you know what? Here's a guy that came from a small town in Emerson Village, and Baltimore, and I got every kind of award there is. I want that. Be able to take this sound. I want to be able to go to Ibiza.
Yes. Oh, come on, man.
And not play what they play. I want to go as me playing what I play. Like, you know what? You know me now. You come here, you're going to get me. You're not going to get what you used to.
Yes.
You're not going to get what DJ before me did. You're coming for this. Ladies and gentlemen, Thommy did.
Yeah. And I want you there, and I want you to tell your story, because again, I follow some of the Ibiza DJs, and some of them jokers weren't even around when the genre was created, but they're walking away with $100,000 a night.
Yeah,
I'm like,
they
what? What?
They earned it, but the fault is us. Because the promoters are only doing what business does. You know what? If your crowd is 18-year-old white people, you need to put an 18-year-old white guy up there DJing. I'm not mad about that. That's just common sense. Because the people come to it because they see themselves in a DJ. But the only time they're going to see something different is for an enigma. So guess what? I'm a walking enigma.
Understood. But and I know we don't have the time, but yeah, we're gonna change that too, because You got to go back to the original. You got to go back to the origins as to how all this started. You know, and an 18-year-old white boy don't even have the feel or the flow for this.
but he will.
You know.
He'll get. I mean, I'm saying they're not doing anything. They're just doing what they have the ability to do.
Yeah.
Just like other race would. So I'm not mad at them or nothing. They're like, go for it, because you're only opening a door that I can walk in behind too. If I don't get through that door, it's not their fault. It's my fault.
I hear you on that one, brother. I hear you. But listen, I'm gonna give you the final closing words. But I love you, man. I appreciate you, man. And we could just rock more and more, but I want to save some of this for another time. But Thommy, give us the closing words on anything else you want us to know, brother.
Hey, wait a minute. We didn't even. There's a movie coming about my life and house music in Baltimore. A full-length movie.
Wait. Are you serious?
Yes. I didn't get it. It's a movie telling the story of house in Baltimore done through my lens. You know what I mean? Meaning if you talk about house, you can't talk about one person.
Yes.
You can't talk about house and just say Frankie Knuckles like you're kidding, right?
Yes.
That's just one person. You can't tell a one-person story. But it's through my lens because, as you heard from the stories we've talked about, I came through it.
Yes.
All of them, you know.
Yes.
I tell you stories about me going to new music seminar and Frankie sitting there and I stand up and say, Frankie, you're not house, man. I don't care what you say. You're not house. And the whole auditorium looked at me like they wanted to destroy me.
Yeah.
Like, but I was bold. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was traditionally house. And Frankie was introducing a new sound of house. And I'm like, okay, but you know what? You're not house. But at the time, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
I was body and, you know, jam silk. And I was all that house.
Yes.
And to me, it got slighted. So I actually did that. And my friends with me telling me, said, yo, for real, you and Frankie will never be right, yo, for real. We talked about it, but he remembered it. It's like, you know what, in front of 500 people in that room.
Yes.
But anyway, that movie, the movie is still raising money. So if you play this podcast and people want to invest in something to help small independent people, it came out of Morgan. It started with Morgan Film. It coming to Collective Minds and said, hey, I would like to tell this story. And I've been working with them for 3 years to do it. It's taken a lot. It's taking a lot of money. It's taking a lot of stuff. And, you know, besides that, then, you know, we didn't talk about quantized and unquantized. And that's a long story how we became big label. And then I'm also an author. I got 9 books coming out. So like, oh, my God.
Wow.
What?
Legendary. That's what I'm trying to tell you, brother.
Yeah. And always I'm telling this because I want to encourage other people that it is never over.
Yes.
It is never over.
Yes. I received that. Yeah.
All right.
Brother Thommy, you have been fantastic. I thank you for blessing and gracing this platform, man. Listen, we're gonna stay connected. We're gonna do some more things together, and hopefully we can create and collaborate some things together as well.
Yeah. Next time I come up there, man, I want smoke machines on the side of the stage going boom, exploding like, yeah. I'm messing with you, man.
No. Listen, we're gonna get you up here soon, man. We're gonna talk offline to get you up here and talk about these other DJs I would love to interview as well. But nothing much but success, brother.
Yeah, I know most artists and most people. So if you can't find someone, I'll probably have their phone number, and I can proxy for you. You just let me know what.
Yes, brother. Yes, Thommy, I have been Thommatized. That's all right.
Here's my final word.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
House is a lot of things, but you know what it is not? Is that we don't lift each other up.
Got you.
So, you know what? Despite the fact that I'm Basin Boys and all this kind of stuff, I have never done Chosen Few. I've never even been to Chicago.
Wait, hold it. You've never been to Chosen Few. Have you been to Soul Summit?
No.
Oh, my God. Okay. All right.
No.
All right.
No. But it's something and a slight or nothing. It's just that we're going to have to, in order for this to become bigger than us doing private small gatherings meaning that it's in a community and that's all it is. In order to become Burning Man or Afro Punk or something like this, it's going to take us to have to come together to do it, to make it so that it makes money. It's bigger than just us one day.
Yeah.
It has to be us. It has to be Louis coming together with Joe Clarcelle, coming together with Spin, coming together with me, coming together with Kevin Hedge, coming together with, coming together with Beloved, coming together with Shahad, coming together with David Harness, coming together. It has to be that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we're unstoppable.
Matter of fact, you mentioned Kevin Hedge, right? He was supposed to come down. I had a ticket for him, man. He was supposed to come down. Yeah, on Sunday, this past Sunday. And matter of fact, him and we're starting to talk about we through another mutual friend, right? We were just beginning to talk about trying to create like a house music association, because one of the things that I want to talk about within this industry is that we've got all these DJs that have wonderful names. You've got these wonderful followings, right? But we can't seemingly control our own destiny. We don't control the venues most of the time that we play in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would love to see, how do we create this association that we can own these venues that we play in?
It's real simple. We have to have a business plan that shows money. You know what? I don't care what color somebody is. If you have a plan and it promises money and it almost guarantees money, it's sellable. But as long as we are broken up and competing against each other, like really competing against each other, we're not trying to do this thing, then we'll live and die, and we'll be yesterday news that somebody forgot.
Yeah, and so I was matter of fact, I had sent him the framework, and if I can find it, I'll send you part of the framework of how we could do, membership. Say for example, you would come into a club like Cooper River, right? And and your membership would allow you to get in for say $5, and then the rest of it is going to pay for the upkeep of the club. But we can talk more about that. But yeah, I had been talking to him about trying to get together, and I know they've got an April house music seminar coming together up in Jersey somewhere. And my concern was we're meeting at a hotel that we don't even own, and we're getting excited about that. Why?
I'm sorry. What date is that again? Oh man, I'm glad you mentioned it.
I think it's April. I got to get those dates, but it's in April sometime. It's it's right before spring, so it's like April 14th or April 13th, something like that. But I'll get the flyer and share it with you, man.
I'm supposed to be there.
What? Okay, yeah.
I mean, I know someone said, and I said I'll make sure. I need to lock the date so I don't book on that day.
Yeah, because I think it's a Friday and Saturday. Yeah, and that was my concern. Here we are having this house music conference, but we're having it at a space that we don't even own.
That's apples and oranges, Kevin.
Not to me, it ain't.
Well, when you own it, it comes with a lot of other responsibilities. You rent it, you walk out of there with the water heater go down and catch on fire, whatever. It's not your responsibility.
No. I got that, but I'm saying this. When we've been in this space for this long, I would love to see more people in this space with ownership. Just like when we start to talk about basketball, football, right? We're starting to be in these spaces now where jokers are getting $700 million, for 10 years. I want to see some partial ownership at the end of the day. I want to see more black coaches. I want to see more black ownership. I want to see that, because back in the day before everything became what it became, we owned hotels. We owned all of those things. They burnt us down. They burnt us out. But now we got to come back with the vengeance and say, you're not going to do that anymore. But that's all. We're going to
an offline conversation that I didn't say it. I don't know what.
No, I'm just saying, when you go to, you look at your audience at Collective Minds, right? 10, 15,000 people, right? Just think about if every person gave you $25 or even every person gave you $10.
Yeah.
There is some dilapidated hotel or some kind of venue space or warehouse space that you could buy in Baltimore. Because we as black folks, we will spend $7,000 traveling on a 3-week cruise for the memory, but we won't spend $5,000 or even $1,000 to have long-term generational wealth. That's a problem. That's a problem. We will shake our ass for $1,000, right? But won't give a brother $100 so that we can have long-term generational wealth. But we'll spend $1,000 just to have memories for a weekend. I got a problem with that. And so we've got DJs, right, like you, who are legendary, right, in the game 40, 30, 40, 50 years. You are influential. You can take this on and say, brothers, listen, I'm going to do an event. We're going to do 10 for 10, $10 to get in, $10 in the investment firm. So 6 months from now, the $10 that you gave me for the investment pot, we're going to own a venue so that we can come and rock out. And when we don't want to rock out, we can rent out.
I like that idea.
That's the conversation I was having with Kevin. So I'm going to find the framework that I was sharing with you, and I'll email it or text it to you. But that's why Worth One Productions, that's why we're coming into this industry, man. Because there's too many jokers out here calling themselves DJs that have these fantastic followings, but nobody has a venue. We need that level of responsibility. We have the intellect, we have the mindset, we have the capability to handle that level of responsibility.
It's a big idea.
It's no bigger than having a restaurant, right? It's no bigger than doing anything. I see people, save their money, or give a travel agency $125 a month for 18 months so that in 2025 they can go to Aruba or they can go to Egypt. But they won't give a black man $125 so he can buy a venue in his own community or a hotel, right? Listen, we gonna end it, man. I was
ready to go there, man.
No, we were starting to go there, but I mean, we got too much time in, so I want to, make sure we come back and we start with this. And so the next time we start with our conversation, we can let folks know that the next party that we're doing, this is what it's going to look like. And maybe we do a conversation with you and I and Kevin.
Kevin, my man.
That's my new dude, right? And because he's feeling the same thing that I'm feeling, and he was like, "Wow, I know you." And matter of fact, he was supposed to come down this past Sunday, and then prior to him coming down, I was supposed to go up New York or North Jersey with him and start looking at some property, man. Because this is real, man. Because because you think about, and I'm going to mess up this name. I want to say Mike Bass. I believe that's his name. He used to own all 3 clubs: Club America, Club 88, and Zanzibar. He owned all 3 of those properties that we all used to rock out in.
Wow, I never knew the name.
Yeah. See, because to black folks who are partying, the ownership ain't the key. It's the DJ and the sound system. But me as an entrepreneur, I'm looking a little deeper than that. Okay, yeah, the DJ was good, the sound system was cool, but who owns the building? Who owns this club? Who owns this concept? Right? And so that's where I'm trying to get us at. We've been rocking out for 30, 40, 50 years of some of these guys, right?
Yeah.
And half the clubs that we would go and to hear people spin in, they're either white or Jewish owned. Ain't black folks owning them building. But we got memories for years, though.
I could go more, but my mom's gonna call me.
You go. Peace and blessings to you. Huh?
I appreciate you, man. There's nothing I won't do for you, man. A man is only great as his association.
Appreciate you, man. Likewise.
All right.
We're going to keep this conversation going. Matter of fact, I'm going to get off the phone right now and call Kevin and let him know I spoke to you. And we got to have a conference call, beloved.
Yo, did you talk to my man? I leaned on him a couple times. Did he call you?
Who?
Spen.
No. I spoke to him. He said he was going to have his manager call me, but never did.
Okay, all right, cool. You did speak to him. Okay.
Yeah, I spoke to him, but he's going to have his manager call me.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
I got you, doctor. Nothing but peace and love, man. Appreciate you, man.
Man, all right. Let me know when it's on air,
all right.
and I'll help you get this news.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you, man. Yep.
All right.
Yep. Peace now.
That concludes another episode of The Entrepreneurial Enclave with Kevin Wortham, the podcast that focuses on building, maintaining, pivoting, planning, and investing in you, the entrepreneur. We hope you found this episode informative and enlightening. If you have any questions or comments about any of our episodes, please call 609-731-9311 or email kevin@minding-our-business.com. We look forward to joining us for our next one. Until next time.